All right. We are live. What did you eat for dinner?
It was my kid's birthday.
Oh,
So
really?
today's Pi Day. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. How old is he? 12 now?
He's 12. Look at you. You've been following up on him?
I remember he's 11, right? Yeah.
He's 12. Yep. He loves Gorilla Tag on Oculus. So my wife made him a Gorilla Tag cake. That's how obsessed he is. He played
That's why
3
you have so much
hours
meta.
today. I let him play 3 hours today, by the way.
How much do you usually play? Like an hour every day?
Me?
How much do you usually let him play?
Oh, well, it starts at an hour and then there's a lot of negotiating. The good thing about this, and I'm telling you, the Quest is like killing it. And I don't know, there was an article that came out. This is a side topic, but Gorilla Tag is the first 100,000 reviewed game on the Quest store. So this is like actually big. It's growing where people are adopting it. Whoa, you just zoom in or something?
Yeah, now it's us. Now we're intimate.
Oh, well, let's move in a little tighter.
Now this is VR, baby. This is what I'm talking about.
So it's doing well in that respect, but I didn't understand the consequences of what would happen to my own kids, how they would absolutely just be obsessed with it. Like they're obsessed. You don't understand. It would be an everyday thing if I didn't control it. And luckily there is some supervision things in the app that I can control. But what I have done, at least to mitigate the problems of too much time in VR, is I'm making them code. So yeah. And they're coding Roblox Studio. I don't know if you heard of Roblox 2. It's another game thing. And there's a studio to actually code and create games. So I said, if you guys do that, every minute you do on there, I'll give you 30 seconds on Gorilla Tag.
That's a good idea.
So now they're spending like 8 hours a week because they want the hours for Gorilla Tag. They're actually now coding and making little mini games. It's pretty cool. And following tutorials on YouTube and doing that kind of stuff. So
what is with the language of code? Is it like Python or?
No, I think it's Lua. Lua is a different language, but it's a simpler language, so it's more scripting. I've personally not used it, but it's not difficult. And I saw what they were doing. Actually, a couple of times I sat with them just for a few hours and did some tutorials at the same time, just to make sure that they're getting into it and they're following the steps to learn how to code. And hopefully by the time they're in their 20s, you won't need to know how to code because OpenAI will take over that job too.
Did you see the video that came out about Devin?
Yeah, the CTO?
No. The oh, you didn't see it. So there's let's start with this, and this is a good video. There's a Cognition Labs. There's a company called Cognition Labs. They just raised 21 million, and they just built an AI that can literally code. Not just like a co-pilot, but like a legitimate.
I think I saw some of this, but go ahead. You want to play it?
There's a minute 40. Yeah, this thing is crazy, dude. This is like, this could actually replace engineers. Okay, here we go.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action.
I did see this.
I asked Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use. Devin has its own command line, its own code editor, and even its own browser. In this case, Devin decides to use the browser to pull up API documentation so that it can read up and learn how to plug into each of these APIs. Here, Devin runs into an unexpected error. Devin actually decides to add a debugging print statement, reruns the code with the debugging print statement, and then uses the error in the logs to figure out how to fix the bug. Finally, Devin decides to build and deploy a website with full styling as the visualization. You can see the website here. All of this is possible today because of the advancements that we've made in both reasoning and long-term planning. It's a really hard problem. We've only just started, but we're super excited about the progress that we've made so far.
It feels like deflation is coming aggressively.
What's going on with your lights?
What's going on with your mic, dude? Fuck.
What's
Okay, now
wrong
it's
with
better.
my mic?
Oh, now it's better. It was too loud. My thing blew out this
Your
morning.
mic's kind of loud.
I got to get a new one.
Or was.
Wait, my mic is loud?
It's
Oh,
fine.
now it's good. Now it's good. It was, but now it's good.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Who's this guy who's joining us?
What's up, killers?
Are you joining the pod? Or are you?
Yeah, I'll see how long I can stay on. It's a little hard.
Whatever.
I
Are
don't
you
know
sick
why.
or something?
No. We had the Santa Ana winds hit California, so it gets really windy around here. That usually knocks a lot of trees, and they hit power lines. So they cut the power today so they can fix the power lines. But they said it was supposed to be done at 2:30, and it's like 6 now, and the power's still not back on. It's like we have very limited power, but like obviously no internet. So I was like,
This is why we need the batteries at the house.
That is true.
you know. But I actually think they even shut down the solar systems because they'd still be sending power. The point is they didn't want the grid energized while the guys were on the.
No, I know, but as soon as you have a battery
Yeah.
system, it feeds off your battery, and
I
it
mean
doesn't.
that would be the idea, right? So I'm just gonna sit outside and
I'm
and
so
listen.
jealous. I'm so jealous of Carlos and his orange tree. Dude, that's my dream. To have fresh citrus trees in my backyard. Look
Oh,
at
no,
those
these are-
oranges, bro.
These are oranges. These are lemons, actually. These are the largest
They're
lemons you'll ever
lemons?
see in your life. Yeah, look at these things. So these are the oranges, right? But these are lemons. Let me see if we got any big
Nice.
ones. These are actually, these are lemons.
Nice.
Dude,
You
I
see
get a
'em?
fresh squeeze orange juice every morning, man. That's the dream.
It's good. It's great. Yeah. I mean, when you have a kid and that's all you give them, you like rediscover all these very simple flavors from your youth.
You
like,
should grow an orange
honestly.
tree. Honestly, I don't know why you don't set that up as well. If you got a
There's one
lemon
back
tree.
there. There's an orange tree there. There's a
Oh, you already
lemon
got
lime
it. Okay,
tree.
never mind.
Yeah, and then these are here. These are oranges from the neighbors.
When he goes to the
There's more.
grocery store, deflation, baby. He
I just
picks,
go back outside. I just go outside.
just
The
picking
guy
fucking
over here has
oranges.
bananas. The guy over here has bananas, and one of the branches hangs over and drops like 100 bananas in my yard. I'm like, all right, cool.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I'll see if I have this picture. I gotta show you. My family, we have a large plantation in India, and my mom, she's there, and she's planted like this
How many
entire
slaves you got?
garden. We don't have slaves. We don't have slaves. We never had slaves. We were the slaves. But no, she's got this whole plantation. But
She bought her freedom.
one of the really cool things is we have monkeys that come to the farm, right? And I remember when I was a kid. So my family, we have this giant tobacco plantation, and what happens is the monkeys, they get addicted to this stuff, so they come and they start eating the tobacco.
What are they?
Like
You
there's
got
like
the
this
monkeys up there
stopwatch.
packing lips? Is that what
Huh?
they're
No,
doing?
dude, so they'll eat the top part of the plant, and so the rest of the plant won't grow. And the thing is, like, there's a bunch of them. So I remember my grandpa said to me, like, "Come on, let's go. I'm gonna teach you how to get rid of these monkeys." I was like, "All right, why not?" So one time my grandfather, he bought a whole bunch of firecrackers, like M80s and stuff.
Oh,
And what he
no.
did was he told me, "All right, go grab that rock and a string." So we tied it up and we threw it up into like the tree where all the monkeys were just chilling, right? And then as the rock came down, we untied the rock and tied that M80. And then he would light it on fire. He's like, "Okay, go ahead, pull the string." So I pulled it. The M80 went up there, and that shit exploded, bro. You should see fucking all the monkeys. They just fell out of the tree all of a sudden and just ran in all directions, bro. That entire season, monkeys never came back. They're
Never
like,
came
"Nah,
back.
bro. That dude's too gangster, bro. Can't deal with that." So
Right, it's like they're
yeah.
dropping bombs over there, bro. It's
So now,
unsafe.
so now my mom is actually like turned a corner and she's feeding the monkeys. And I was like, "Mom, you need to not do that because the other farmers in the area, they're gonna eat their stuff, you know." So
Right, like your mom's trying to negotiate a ceasefire. You know,
my mom will cook food and give it to
For
the
the monkeys.
monkeys. Here it is. Here, I found it. This is look.
I remember going to India. There used to be monkeys in the backyard that I used to stay
Yeah.
at. There's a lot of
Yep.
them. I used to
So-
play soccer with some kids, and I was scared of them, but like they never came up to us. But it was wild, dude.
I would be scared of them. They're strong as hell. They look cute,
Yeah.
but they're strong as hell.
Bro,
Well,
they'll
we were
rip your
monkeys at one
face
point.
off.
Like
you
four
know?
times
They'll rip your
stronger than you. You know, something ridiculous like that.
Okay, so speaking of when
Monkeys?
you were, I forgot what the transition was to.
well, that
inflation.
was the name that I think me.
It
and
was
V were
OpenAI
talking about.
coding transition, but we
No,
left
we said
that a long time ago.
finance monkeys. What was it? What when we were trying to go with the name? It was finance monkeys. What was it? Finance monkeys or
No.
money monkeys?
Yeah, I don't know how we
Money
got to find the
monkeys.
Junkies, but Chris came up with it. Okay, so PPI came in hot, 1.6 versus 1.1.
Oh, you skipped the whole coding thing, huh?
Oh, well, okay, so let's do that real quick. So that coding video I just played, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Devin, basically they automated a software engineer almost perfectly. I mean, obviously not perfectly, but it's pretty damn close. So what are your thoughts, Vitaly? What do you think that's going to do for the engineering industry?
Well, look, in the beginning, I'm not going to say they're being replaced right away. Okay, that's not happening. But I think it's going to make a 1x coder a 10x coder, which would mean less coders eventually are needed for certain jobs. It's just the bottom line. I'm hoping, though, that there's just way more work down the pipeline because everything's going to online and software, that we don't get destroyed this fast. Like, so if even coding is done in 10 years and then filmmaking is done in 10 years, like, that would be very painful. Honestly, be very painful for society too. Like, so all these things though are deflationary. Absolutely, that you won't need as many coders to do the job anymore if you have a one guy who's willing to work with the AI. Absolutely. So I don't see this as a good thing, honestly. Short term might be very good to get, like I said, more better output out of each worker, but long term this might be very bad for
I don't think it's
people.
good or bad. I think it just is what it is, dude. Like if you can automate a software engineer, some companies.
Well,
are gonna
it's
take
good
advantage
for
of it.
someone like you because like you did Audia, and so then you had to hire coders. You had a co-founder as a coder. You didn't know how to code. All of a sudden, a guy like you might be able to sit in a decade or 5 years with
And just literally
an
make something.
AI and say, no, this is not working the way it is. Not sure what to do, but can you make this happen this way? And maybe it can, right? So,
But I'm not even thinking if it's good or bad. I'm just thinking like AI is going to get so advanced that eventually it'll know how to code. It'll know how to do text to video. Like it's we're not stopping it, right? So this company's just like, all right, let's just take advantage and become a multi-billion-dollar company in the process.
yeah.
I'm not worried. This ETF was powered by Watson, one of the most powerful AI stock picking, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. It does not, it hasn't beat the Vanguard index. It hasn't even performed at the same level.
When did
All
they
this
start?
hype,
When did they start?
2018 or 17.
Okay.
Look at that. So I use this as a gauge. When they start actually being able to beat the market, maybe I'll trust AI to do all this other stuff. I think humans are always going to have to be in the driver's seat. I do think that a 1x coder can turn into a 10x coder with the right AI tools, but I don't think they can replace the human completely. I think there's still a lot of room where the mistakes can happen. The debugging part of it has to be verified, and that's where humans have to step in, so I'm not worried.
Well, the thing is, there's higher level apps which will require humans in the loop, of course, but there's a lot of low level apps, like just accessing data, pulling from a database, doing a table. Like there's a lot of that kind of stuff. That stuff might go away, honestly, and
Yeah,
you might
I
not
agree.
need
I agree.
you might not need coders for that. You would just, like I said, a person like AMIT would just work with an AI in 5 years to make simple apps like that, and
Yeah.
that does take away jobs, whether we want it or not.
But if it increases productivity, then maybe, maybe
That's what we're hoping for.
That's what we're
I'm
hoping. That's the trade-off. Yeah. Carlos, go ahead. You're gonna say.
No, I've been thinking a lot about this since I saw that Devin demo. Like, I fundamentally disagree that that this is going to make each employee 10 times more productive. It might make some employees 2 to 3 times more productive, but if you're getting 10 times the output out of this thing, then that's 10 people that are going to lose their jobs. Eventually, it's going to displace a lot of people. And with enough time, when you have enough generations, there's going to be people that understand how to use this software that never even knew how to code. They don't even know how to code. So right now you'll have a transition where it's like most of the top coders will know how to use this to get the best results. But eventually, a lot of the stuff that we see as jobs, trades, will just be prompt engineers. People know how to prompt this thing to get the results. But the companies are buying into this software for productivity, not output. They want to be more productive with fewer resources. Then none of them are saying we're going to 10x our output, right? They're just saying, no, we're going to be more productive. And so it's great. I mean, look, the stuff looks fantastic. If I was in my like late teens, early 20s, I would be so excited about this because I would know that I'm on the bleeding edge of some new technology, right? But for those of us that are later on, it's incredibly disruptive to every industry right now. And so you have to be one of those people that survive, that make it to the next round. Because not
So
everybody's going to make it.
Gail is right. This is still years and years out, but before I think coders should really worry. I think you still should go get an engineering degree. But it's coming down the line, like 5-10 years, you can see that it's possible that just the low level stuff that coders do now, just like in film too, the low level stuff will just go away. It's being taken over. Like, for example, the green screen guy, the guy who used to roto everything, who would spend months and months rotoing, that job is going away.
Yeah.
He better not. He better forget about rotoing stuff. Like, he's gonna that's gonna be like, maybe the highest end feature films might still need that guy, but anything mid, that person's gone.
Okay, so this gets us into a good next topic about Adobe and OpenAI. So let me just set this up real quick, and then we'll get into it. Adobe had earnings today. This is gonna be, I mean, this is definitely relevant for you and Carlos, Vitaly, because you guys are in this industry. Adobe's down 10% right now. They grew 8% year over year. They beat on EPS, beat on revenue. The problem is their guidance was kind of shitty. And so I listened to the call, and they were just like, why is the guidance shitty? And they didn't really have a good answer. Now they're buying back $25 billion of their stock. And Carlos, this is just underscores your point that you've been making for months, that these companies don't know what the fuck to do with this money. So they're putting 25 billion into stock, which is, they're buying 10% of the float, and the street's not impressed. The stock's down. They lost like 80 billion in market cap, or 25 billion in market cap after hours. So the question was, what are you doing about text to video? Because everyone saw what OpenAI is doing with Sora, and it's Adobe Premiere. It's got to have a competitor to this. And the CEO's response was interesting. He said two things. He said, one, we might work with OpenAI. I think that was bullshit. I don't think they have a partnership, but he was trying to say, well, we'll work with them. Number two, he said, well, it's okay if people are typing girl on a horse into Sora, because when they get that 30-second clip of a girl on a horse, they're going to need to edit it. And so they're going to buy Premiere and pay us $30 a month to edit the video. And in my opinion, I'm like, yes, some people will, but I think the far majority of people, they're not going to give a shit about editing that little clip. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on what he had to say. But before that, let's listen to OpenAI CTO talk about how they trained Sora yesterday, and then we'll discuss Adobe and Sora.
We used publicly available data and licensed data.
So videos on YouTube?
I'm not sure about that.
Okay. Videos from Facebook, Instagram?
You know, if they were publicly available, publicly available to use, there might be the data, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not confident about it.
What about Shutterstock? I know you guys have a deal with them.
I'm just not going to go into the details of the data that was used, but it was publicly available or licensed data.
What data was used to train?
Okay, so Vitaly, Carlos, I know you guys have a lot to say, so we'll start with Chris first. Chris, what was your reaction to that interview, and then what do you think this is going to have implications on for Adobe, for them training their models to compete with Sora?
Where's my check? What's up? Training your data on my stuff. Where's my check? I don't care if it's 10 cents or 20 cents. Where's my check?
Well, her pushback is you posted it on YouTube publicly, so it's free.
No. Just because Lil Wayne sings his song, that means that everyone could use it too. Try it. Go ahead, play a Lil Wayne song on our video. See if we don't get hit by copyright. The minute you start using our likeness and our stuff for commercial purposes, you owe me money. Okay, if you use it for free for educational purposes, by all means, go ahead. That's what right now we get demonetized, right? So this is me right now looking at OpenAI. I'm sure Zuckerberg and Sundar Pichai are like, oh, I needed this, So if Google right now is not suing the shit out of OpenAI for this, I don't know what to say. I think at this point, Google and Google's lawyers should be fired, because they could put injunctions on OpenAI until this investigation is done, saying, oh, did you train the models based on this data? And then
Google has hundreds of millions of YouTube creators. Technically, Google owns that content, or at least they're supposed to protect our likeliness. If OpenAI is stealing our shit to train their stupid models, I mean, Vitaly, what are your thoughts on this?
Google's like, why didn't we use this data on the open internet?
Well, yeah, Google would not create any videos with white people in it. That's why they had to stop. They were like,
well, okay, so obviously, if you're using YouTube data, which seems like they might be, that's Google's property and our property, obviously. So, and I don't think Google would have given Google Gemini would have given them a license. So this is actually very fishy territory. And I think Jason Calacanis had a little tweet after that said "busted," right? So this is a big deal. I really hope Sundar Pichai is not sleeping on this one. If he fucks this one up, I don't know what else to tell you.
And how is that the CTO of Open? How are you the CTO of $100 billion startup? and you're talking like that. Like the communication was awful, dude.
God awful.
It was just, Carlos, what was your reaction to it?
Look, but when you see these companies that are super woke, do you ever see like really impressive people at the top? You know, she screams of like some sort of diversity inclusion. No, I think they are in a lot of trouble with this. Like there's no way to get around this. You have to prove what you train the data on. What I think this is why I think this is good for the public is because it shows people how valuable our data is to these companies. So now they're going to battle it out. And Google's going to throw out hundreds of millions of dollars saying that that's the value of what you took from us. And hopefully that starts a conversation of being like, well, wait a minute, that means that my piece that I've contributed is worth something. Look, what we actually have a dollar amount now of how much our data is worth. So I think that's a good conversation that needs to be had.
Imagine Google starts to own a piece of the revenues from OpenAI.
Checkmate.
Well, this is exactly what Elon's problem was when he first took over Twitter, right? How he cut everybody's access off. He goes, "You're training all these LLMs on our data," and so he cut that shit off. And it didn't start the conversation, but yeah, I think this is going to get that conversation going. It's just these are all really big, massive changes that are coming, and it's just nice that these things are in the public now.
Now, here's a cool thing though. If the OpenAI had remained a nonprofit, there you go. Problem. You could train all the models you want because you're a nonprofit. You're not using it for commercial purposes. Now you are a for-profit company, which means you owe me a check. Sorry, that's just how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So Adobe said one of the differences between their model and OpenAI is that they are going to be incredibly transparent about the training data they're using. That's also the reason the stock is down, is because their models aren't out. It's going to take them 7 months to make it, but they said they're going to be really transparent. So here's the big question. Do you think OpenAI will be more valuable in the text to video space than Adobe, which should be the company that kind of takes over on this, because OpenAI is not going to give a fuck about being transparent and they're just going to take all the content and then just deal with it later? Or do you think regulation will catch up to them and Adobe might end up getting a bigger piece of the text to video pie because they're going to do it the right way? I think OpenAI is going to win this race, and I think they're just going to do it illegally.
It's the Zuck model, move fast and break things. So I think that's what they're doing, and honestly, that does work. It's worked for every computer company. It worked for Bill Gates. It worked for Steve Jobs. Eventually, they get sued. Eventually, they have to pay, but by then, they're just super big.
Okay, Carlos, how do you think Adobe deals with this?
I don't think this bodes well for Adobe long term. Did you guys see the LT or LTX Studio demo of how you can use the Gen? I think I sent it to you guys in the link. Maybe you can pull it up because I can't on my phone, Amit. What a software interface would look like as you try to use this text to AI as a creative tool is so fundamentally different from what we're doing as in what we're doing as like a traditional editor, that I just think that they're two different skill sets. Although it looks the same, and the Adobe CEO is right, initially a bunch of people, even myself, I considered it, have a bunch of these developmental sizzles to do. So why would I go looking for stuff and ripping videos if I can just get a Sora account, type the text prompt that I need, and just get some videos? I do think initially that's how it's going to be used. But once it starts becoming like a high-end tool, then I think it's more about how you prompt the software and how you run that one. Did you see that one? Is that the one?
Yeah. So what is this doing? What is this doing right here?
Watch this. Just watch how this interface looks different from traditional video editing. So this is what this is like a studio now that you would use to create videos using text to video as the generator. And then this is how you would work with it. It's like your workflow.
Gives form to your ideas, bringing them to life. Just a handful of words can transform your concept into a story. Weave it into a compelling narrative.
Can we make it a regular courtroom drama set in New York City?
Sure. Then generate to elevate it into a grand production with music, dialogue, and sound effects.
Stop. Yeah, I like it. But can the car be red?
You got it.
You're gonna hate me, but can we try it with a guy?
No problem.
Actually, let's go back to a girl.
Okay.
How about storyboarding?
No problemo.
We need an extra scene here.
Simple.
So I have some ideas about casting.
Okay.
Can we talk lighting?
Sure.
Does this thing do titles?
How's this? Whatever your creative wishes, LTX Studio harnesses the power of AI and gives you the ability to supercharge the creative production process. From camera angles to casting, through styling and contextual editing, LTX is a holistic movie maker for all.
Dude, I don't get how someone could watch that like myself and not buy Nvidia after that, dude. Like all that's running on those GPUs, dude. That looked incredible.
Yeah,
That
and
looked
do you understand?
amazing.
Do you
Me and
understand
Carlos are
how many
thinking, "Oh shit,
people?
we're gonna lose our jobs," and you're like,
No, that
"How do I
actually
not
can
get-
replace jobs,
how
dude.
do I
That
not get a
actually
GPU?"
And he's like, I
Goodness.
want to buy the GPU. I mean, but do you know how many jobs that one piece of software is doing? It's doing the entire visual effects team. Even at the end, when she goes, "Can this thing do titles?" I mean, do you know how much money I charge to do a title treatment like that and how long it takes? Like that's a week and a half, 2 weeks of work, right? Design, there's so many processes, and it's just all in a box. So now you ask yourself, is that really video editing? I mean, at that point, are you a video editor? No, you are a
That's
holistic
magic,
movie
dude.
maker.
That's fucking
Right.
magic.
So the idea that like you're going to be able to be an editor and then keep getting work because you transition to this thing. No, there's going to be people that are really good at running that software and prompting it and knowing how to manipulate that software to get you what you want faster than a video editor would. So I think the days are numbered.
Chris,
Yeah,
your thoughts on
for certain
Adobe?
jobs,
Go ahead, go
for
ahead.
certain jobs, they're
Yeah,
totally numbered.
For certain jobs.
I
Like,
want
if
to
you-
give an anecdotal thing because I showed this video at a lunchtime during crew when I was sitting with everybody on the crew, art department, gaffers, grips. I'm sitting with even a young guy who's starting out in the business. He's only been for a year or two. He's the PA on set, and like he was fighting me like tooth and nail. He's like, "Art, man, art is important. Humans are, like he just kept giving me like humans are gonna do art," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm with you, okay? I'm with you, but this is happening whether you believe it or not, okay?" So but the older people, like the art department who's been around for like 10, 15 years, and they're like, "Yeah, we're sort of screwed."
There's no way. I mean, there's no way around it. It really makes it so clear to me that like what these companies are they put products on shelves and they sell it, right? The movie making process, as incredibly creative as it is still a product on a shelf, and I want to sell it. So the speed, and we've seen over the years that the budgets and the length of time have been shrinking. So budgets are shrinking and the length of time you have. So what does that tell you? They want the products as fast as possible to put on the shelf and sell to people. A product like this allows them to go even faster and cheaper to the end result that they can put on the shelf. They're selling products. They're not artists. They're not trying to be creative. They're putting products on shelves that they want to make money.
Well, the point is Netflix is not an artist. They're a product maker. So that is the difference. There's a million artists behind them, but they're not in charge of Netflix. So
yeah, I equate
or
Netflix,
Amazon.
I've said this before, more like an advertising agency. I think their real skill is knowing how to sell their shows and like their GUI interface. Like they're really good at that. And so then they just have the catalog. Now they just need to keep building the catalog and make it even more robust. But that's what they nailed.
So let's talk about this. Adobe's down 10% on this. Chris, you just saw that video. Does that make you bullish to think of maybe Adobe's worth looking at, or Adobe's a dinosaur if stuff like that is going on right now?
I don't know, man. I haven't looked at Adobe in a really long time, but can this pose an existential threat to their business? I don't think so. I think there's always going to be a need for editing. They also have other more enterprise grade products. Yeah, they also have other enterprise grade products. So I think they could rest on a lot of their other stuff as well. So I think this will be complementary, but I don't think Adobe's going anywhere.
I'll say Adobe is working on their own version of what you just saw. Like they're not going to let LT Studio, right? Because Adobe has these deals. They have, they acquired Frame.io, and they have these deals with these like Shutterstock and Pond5. They have APIs that you can load some of their stock footage in there. Like they're going to figure a way to either incorporate this into Premiere, or they're going to make another piece of software. Because if you think about it, right, the people that use After Effects to do the rotoscoping that VITALY was talking about is an Adobe product. But they also invented the roto brush in Photoshop and then made that an automatic tool in After Effects. So they themselves created the tool that made a specific job that was used with their software obsolete. You know what I mean? They did it themselves. They're creating the technology that is making some of what the people using that for work obsolete. So they're they're going to be the ones when they announce, when they have their stuff ready, they'll announce that they've got similar software like this ready.
I want to point out that the Adobe model, I also don't think is going away, by the way, for a long time, because they're like the Microsoft model where, hey, we'll give you everything. Just give us the monthly fee. Like right now I pay $30-40, I don't know, a month for like all their software, which includes HTML making, PDFs, After Effects, Premiere, Photoshop. So there's like 20 other programs there. Lightroom. There's like 20 other programs, so it's going to be hard for them to just to go away because Sora's there. It's going to have to be a tool that works with them for a long time until Sora becomes all those tools. Then it's possible, but I think still that's probably a long time away. I think Adobe's safe, just like Microsoft is safe, that kind of thing.
Can we talk about this new thing I'm doing DD on? Because it could be big or
What are you doing
bigger than what it is.
Right here. Sneakers. Oh, okay.
These
so
are my
New Balance.
These are my wife's on clouds. I did not think of this company that like, oh my God, I've heard of them. My wife told me about it a couple of years ago when they IPO'd first. But let me tell you, once I started noticing a few things, I started to notice that a crap ton of people around me were starting to wear these things. It's so weird now, I can't stop seeing them. So it's either me and my greed that's causing it, or these.
So is On Cloud the next Celsius Peter Lynch play? That's the question.
Could be. It could be. I have to do more due diligence on like the physical numbers and the growth and everything else, but I just did a back of the napkin math. The math checks out. There's actually some real value to this company if they keep executing really well. And from what I can see, they are definitely taking a very niche down approach, but they are actually gaining market share. Right now, Nike and Reebok and Adidas are the main guys on the stage, and New Balance are on the stage. But think about it this way: the total addressable market is 6 billion people on this planet, right? I mean, this is probably a much higher class of sneaker, so it's not there. And I was listening to their call today while I was on my flight. They're really going hard on not just the style of shoe, but also on apparel, and they also have a lot of big backers in terms of like sponsorship. So they have a sponsorship with Roger Federer. They're also opening about 100 new stores around the country, and it seems like this might be a bit of a fad, but it's a fad that's actually working and growing, and they could be a serious player in the future. So
can you buy them in a regular store, or this is only in their own store?
Yeah, you can buy it in a regular store as well. You can buy it online. They have omni-channel presence. They also
why would you pay $200 for this shit, dude? What's so good about this?
Dude, people pay money for sneakers.
That's about that's
my kid is wearing Air Jordans now.
You would pay $180 for On Clouds, Vitaly? You would pay that?
I won't pay for $180, but I'm saying people buy Jordans all the time and pay.
But Jordan's a different brand, dude. It's an emotional.
I know, but my
brand.
point is, people pay for sneakers if they want to get a nice sneaker.
If you want to prove that people will pay based on branding, go to your ticker symbol, type in LULU. Okay, and we had this discussion last year. Remember Vitaly with Lululemon?
Oh yeah.
Look at Lululemon stock. Look at where they are. Right?
I mean, I should have sold all my Tesla.
Yeah, you should have sold it and bought Lululemon, because Lululemon is up almost 60% for the year. But the point is, if they can mirror similar price to sales and unit economics, they can get to something like Lululemon, in terms of price to sales. And if that's the case, then this stock should theoretically be worth way more than what it is worth right now.
What is the market cap of? What is it called? Onon? I didn't see the name of it.
On Cloud.
On Cloud. What is the market cap of On Cloud?
Kris, can you get that? Or let me
and Crocs is a big thing. Actually, my family loves Crocs. How does it compare to that one?
10 billion.
And what is Crocs at?
Crocs is what's their CRO? Oh, I got it. It's 7 billion. Crocs is 7 billion.
That's less than this company right now?
Yeah, less than On. There's a brand appeal to On that's really exciting to people. Look at this. Lululemon is charging $78 for a shirt, dude. Who the fuck is paying $78 for a green shirt?
Bro, like, you're going Upper East Side.
Capitalism. You gotta go to Target, baby. That's the $10.
Kris, who's buying this shit, dude? Like
people are buying it. People are buying. When I first came out here, I did the service. I think I told you guys the trunk club. I had a stylist. It was all this stuff. This is what they would do. They would go to these stores.
Look at our comment section, right? This is how you do crowdsourcing, right? Crowdsourcing like information. Someone said they're all over in Canada. They're all over here. There's like a lot of stuff people are saying. I mean, you look at LVMH. They built their entire company on high fashion luxury shit.
But a Louis Vuitton shirt is a totally different brand than Lululemon. Like $128 for the shit. Like if this had an LV symbol, this would be $2,000, and I get it. But it's Lululemon. Like, what's so special about this? Like,
I don't know, bro. Brand appeal.
The younger kids, yeah, the younger kids.
The thing about these things, they are sort of faddish, and you got to get in and you got to get out. I mean, these things are not meant to stay in. I know certain things take off, like Monster took off. Obviously, Lululemon is still around, but most of them go away.
I mean, we can take a look at let's do some.
I'm surprised they're higher than Crocs, though.
Yeah, let's do some really quick DD on what do you call it on this one? Hold on one second.
I think we should look at onon because if it has Celsius vibes to it in terms of everyone's drinking the damn thing, right? Maybe everyone's wearing the shoes or something.
Is that Celsius, Carlos?
I think Celsius is a different animal compared.
I should invest in Simply.
Can you put my thing on?
Some orange juice.
So this right here is on cloud or on holding. This is their stock analysis, right? Just quickly. A lot of these targets are being modified to be a little bit lower, maybe
zoom in a little bit
higher. Yeah.
Zoom way in, not a little bit.
Yeah. I'm on a phone here.
Okay. So you guys
I'm on a
see
computer, I can't see it.
You can see their
shit right now.
Can you see their growth rate right here?
I just see bar charts.
That's a little better. Okay.
So revenue wise, in 2020 they were at 425. In 2021, 724 in revenue. They grew their revenue in 2022 about 70%. In 2023, about 50%. So they are growing relatively fast. This is the first year they're actually GAAP profitable. I looked at their margins. They're actually pretty healthy margins. You know, even on a trailing basis, if you look at how much they're actually making, they're making the same margin right here, gross margin, almost the same thing as Lululemon. Their operating margins have actually been rising and getting better. Their profit margin is actually positive now. Their cash flow, they're like just on a TTM basis is up there now. I mean, this company is trending in the right direction. Balance sheet, very healthy looking balance sheet, right? We've got almost 500 billion in cash. I mean, 500 million in cash with another, let's see, total assets of about 1.5 and current debt is basically nothing. Long-term debt is about 190 million. So barely any debt. So this is a good balance sheet. They're growing their cash pile. I mean, this gives me the sense that this is not a company that, and like look at even their net income. It's trending in upwards direction. This is a good sign. As long as that growth rate doesn't slow down significantly, this could theoretically grow a lot. I mean, I have an analysis that I did in terms of like just my own personal math, and it leads me to about a price target about 45.50, right? Within the next probably 12 to 24 months. When it was at 26 after the earnings crash, I considered buying some calls on it, but I wasn't fast enough with my due diligence and it just rose back up way too quickly. But I think if we do get a pullback,
you mean it ran? It ran.
Yeah, it ran.
It ran on the sneakers. It ran.
Right. If it had stayed at 26 for a few more days, I would have been actually able to buy some of the calls on this thing. But I do think that if we do see another general market pullback and these guys get pulled below 30, maybe even to like the mid 20s, this could be a buy.
Well, can you pull up the chart?
Their stock chart? I mean, I'll do it.
Yeah, like see what the chart actually looks like. Like see where
do you want to do a technical analysis of Vitaly on it real quick?
To see it.
Yeah, let's use the Jonas Brothers Bollinger Bands and the RSI. So, by the way, after this, I want to talk about what price target people have to load up on Tesla. I asked that on Twitter today. Almost every response, there's like 200 responses. Everyone said 100. It kind of feels like January 2023, right? Where everyone's like, I'll wait till it gets to 85 and then I'll buy. So we'll talk about that. Vitaly, you're pulling up the chart.
I'm not.
Why not? You're the.
He's like, I'm not even interested.
I'll pull up the chart.
No, because I don't have trading view, the whole coloring book stuff that you have.
Okay, but give me a couple of minutes then. I can't
okay, so let's talk about Tesla real quick, and then we'll do this. Okay, so What price target is everyone in the
What
chat
was the
buying
ticker?
Tesla?
ONON?
Yeah,
Mhm.
ON. Because the question was today on Twitter, when do you load the boat? When do you liquidate everything you have to just like sell your house to buy more Tesla, right? And people said 100. I don't know if we're getting to 100, bro, but it feels like everyone thinks it's going to be 100. So Carlos, what do you think? Right now?
In 2 quarters of pain, yes, you can get to $100, but I don't know that you're going to have people FOMOing and selling their house, because where are the people that did that the last time? Right, the last time it dropped to 100, where are all those people? Those
There
people
weren't a lot of people. They were scared.
right back in a lot of pain, break even. So I don't know that you'll have the same repeat of it, but I feel like we've been trading back and forth. It's been dead money for a few years. Jeremy had a really good video. I think it was yesterday he put out about it, and he made a good case for. We've seen this happen before with Tesla stock, but when it runs, it's going to run. He's thinking Q3, Q4, when the numbers come back, when we know that margins have bottomed, when we hear about the $25,000 vehicle, maybe you see the Roadster, right? Get some updates on energy, blah blah blah. Then we go back into a bull run for like 2 years, and it's totally possible. But at $100, I would definitely be buying more. I think you just have to. If you're buying Tesla, even if you feel you have enough, you just have to at $100.
Well, at $100, I'm probably doubling my position.
You
And
just
calls.
have to. Yeah, you have to. You have to load up and do calls, take your shots.
And stock too. I'm just doing both because you never know. Once again, Tesla can sit idle for a couple of years. I have no idea. So even if I get leaps, they might expire worthless. Not positive because it's happened in the past.
It'll 10x the month after.
Well, no. Tesla has gone for long periods of
Yeah.
just stagnation, like 5, 6, 7 years of stagnation. So you can have calls every 2 years, of course, keep re-upping, but I feel a strategy of buying a lot of shares at stupid prices, like $100 or whatever, and buying also calls, no spreads, just straight up calls, leaps.
Mm-hmm.
And then those are the best things to do, I think, in terms of playing that, and then possibly re-upping those calls 2 years down the line, because we don't know. Honestly, if they delay anything, it's just going to stagnate for a little longer.
What do you think of Meet Kevin completely?
I agree. Crossroads, you have to DC along the way. I'm just saying like stupid numbers like $100, but you have to DC along the way. Yeah.
Meet Kevin completely liquidated Tesla and Enphase from his portfolio.
Is this his portfolio or is this the one he manages?
The one he
It's
manages.
PP. It's PP.
I mean, that's different. He doesn't want to screw his investors over. That makes him look even worse. I think because if he does believe it's going to 140, 125, for his investors, it's probably better not to have them suffer through that.
Opportunity cost becomes super evident when you are investing other people's money. I even get that when I know somebody bought something on a recommendation. You get this idea of opportunity cost. If I told someone about Tesla a few years ago and now they come back around, you feel bad. So now imagine you're Meet Kevin. You get these people putting all this money in. They want to see some returns, right? And so he has to be somewhat short-sighted. And if I was holding that, as much as you want to believe in Tesla for the long term, there's a lot of money that you can make between now and then, right?
Yeah.
So let's go make it, right?
Chris, what do you think of Kevin selling Tesla and Enphase, and when do you load up the boat on Tesla?
So I'm gonna reiterate what I said before. Under 150, buy stock. If it gets to 100, buy options, because the safety in terms of options will be amazing at that point, because the upward value is there. Because I mean, at that point, it would be valued like a very premium luxury car brand. But at the same time, they do have high margin secondary businesses that could boost up their margins. So unlike other car companies, their margins are. What is their margin right now? I know it keeps compressing. It was
17.6. 17.
No, it went down to 8. I think it's now down to single digits.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Their margins are automotive. No, it's not.
Look at
He sold
the
his puts. Someone said he sold his puts already for 50% profit.
Tesla.
That's true. I don't know. One day he held on to his puts for a day.
Yeah, it's 17.6.
But I mean, 50% profit. That's not bad.
Hold on. Let me look at the last quarter.
I mean, those must have been short-term puts, by the way, because you don't just get 50. If he had 2-year, like he thought this was going to stay low. You know what I mean?
So I don't know if this is 100%. No, this is from
there it is.
No, are you looking at gross margins or
I'm looking at. I'm
it.
looking at.
December 2023 was 2 months ago.
No. So that could be an entire year. I'm talking about now. I'm looking at the latest margins. Their operating margin is about
Okay. Yeah. So
9%.
I was looking at gross. That's the difference. I was looking at gross.
Right. Gross is 18.
Yeah.
Operating is 9 and net is 15 because I think they had like a cash, like some kind of like one-time event
6 billion.
that boosted
6
up their
billion.
net. Yeah, that boosted up their net a little bit, but their operating is only about 9 of last quarter, which is not good. Once again, it's trending in the wrong direction. You typically want to find trend going up, but the trend here is on a downward move. So they're at 9%. Traditional automakers, let's look at some other ones. Like I don't know, Toyota. They're the other largest car brand, right? Their operating margins right here are, look at that. Their operating margins are actually going up. So Toyota has higher operating margins than Tesla does right now.
But they're not doing what Tesla's doing. They're not doing FSD. They're not doing the bot. They're not.
Who gives a
renting
shit all that
factories,
stuff? Operating
but you-
margins is all that really
I know,
matters.
but that's not the whole story.
It's definitely
I'm
not the
just
whole
saying.
story. It's just Wall
It's
Street.
not the.
doesn't
It's
care about
literally
the
not.
rest.
It's literally not the whole story. Toyota's come out and said,
Give me another
giving
one.
up-
Give me another. Give me another one.
Toyota's
Give me
GM,
another
GM.
one.
Dude,
Toyota's given up on EVs, right? They said they're willing to just pay the regulatory credits. Jaguars scrapped their plans.
I'm
to
converting all my
all these
Tesla
companies
to
have,
Toyota
all these
tomorrow.
all these companies have either pushed back their EV plans, severely lowered guidance for them, or outright suspended them. It's hard doing what Tesla does.
Yeah, the whole story is what makes Tesla have phenomenal margins eventually, but Wall Street does not care about.
Look at
FSD.
GM. GM's margins are
They will
11%.
eventually. They will eventually.
GM has 11% operating margin. The operating margins at GM is actually improving.
So right,
I did see the EV Hummer, by the way.
GM's the buy. You heard it here first.
No, isn't that? No, I was about to tweet this too, dude. PayPal is up 2% year to date. Tesla's down
Chris.
35%. PayPal is outperforming Tesla, dude.
I just want to point out, first of all, Tesla goes through long periods of stagnation. And yes, this seems more painful or so, but all those people who waited the 7 years, then the 7 years again, or whatever, 5 years and 5 years, and now we have to wait 5 years again. That's just what it is. That's how you make these crazy returns of like 20x's, just by being patient.
The margin.
It's funny to see GM go
Hold
up.
on, hold on.
It's just funny.
Chris, this goes to when you told your father to get rid of Tesla. I don't know what year this was, but this is because holding things like this are very difficult. That's why.
I agree. It's just funny, dude. It's just hilarious.
It is funny.
Should we look at another auto manufacturer?
No, we don't need to.
Do Ford. Dude, if Ford is increasing, I'm gonna fucking die. Do Ford.
See, 5 years is too damn long. See, Ben is out.
He's
at 4.
right. I need my 50% tomorrow, dude.
It's already been 3, by the way. So
No,
just
That-
FYI.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you've been in it for 3 years already, I'm just
And
like,
Bitcoin, me
as
and
a
Carlos
whole.
were talking. We've been in together in terms of talking about it every day, like 8 years discussing Bitcoin price and 100,000 and all this. 8 years now.
No,
Okay,
you guys are obviously right, and the margins will get so much. It's just hilarious in the moment because Tesla's struggling for the short term, but it's crazy to see that other companies are actually better right now.
At least Ford's margins are going the same direction as Tesla right now. So their operating margins are at like 3%.
I mean, look, I'm sure that you can cherry pick data comparing companies, right? And find one metric where an absolutely shitty company outperforms another company. You can find these things. But again, you're comparing, say, GM to Tesla's car division, which is not all that they do. So you're comparing
it's
the
blended.
totality of one
It's all-
company to,
Yo,
to the
so
other stuff.
Carlos, let's do this topic real quick, and then we'll go to the chart, Vitaly. What's going on with your folks in the Tesla community that are making fun of Figure, the humanoid?
Oh
robotics
yeah.
startup?
I saw that. I
whole Mars
little-
blogs.
Yeah.
Warren. These guys are aggressively going after the founder of the company. They're saying he's a fraud. And I just want to show you his response.
It was the stuttering thing, and they blocked Warren because of that.
Yeah, they're
because he said
fucking
that.
idiots, dude. Like it was trained on neural nets that were recorded conversations, which is why it's stuttering.
Look,
You do understand when you have like $5 million at stake, okay, for these guys' portfolios. Everything.
Look at what he
is
said.
evil.
He said, "Keep bringing the hate. It only fires us up, dude." He's just like, I think he's appalled
Smart.
at these Tesla like crazy people that are hating on a $2 billion company.
These are not Tesla people. These are Elon's cult members, bro.
It's a cult, yeah. It's just like the Palantards who keep fucking hitting me up every time I mention some other stock ticker. Like, why do you keep? I had to block VR power or whatever. I'm like, if you mention Palantir again when I mention Tesla, it's over, dude. And he
Look,
mentioned
I don't do
Palantir.
that. I don't encourage that.
Fuck
but I'm
off.
just- it was weird, dude. These people are getting so. I think the stock's falling. Elon's tweeting about gender, and they need someone to pick up. They need someone to bully, and they're bullying a $2 billion startup that doesn't make revenue.
Well, I don't agree with them. I think there's a lot of they see that there's a lot of money going into this. They don't like it because they want to win. Okay, they're cultists. That's it. Like, there's no room for two, which is idiotic. First of all, like if we are taking over work, right? Elon's not going to make what the fuck?
What is going on with AI, dude? What the fuck?
See, AI is we're fucked. It turns serious conversations into moronic conversations.
It's so funny.
I just thought it was weird, dude.
Hold on, if we're taking over work with robots, if that is going to happen, if that's a true thing that's happening in next year, okay, or like everyone is betting here, then 2 companies can survive.
Of course, it'll be 5 companies. It's just weird, dude. It's so weird.
I think it's that idea of like, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? And so I just think like these people are so used to having had to defend Tesla for so many years that now everything is an attack, and they want to mitigate it.
It's ironic because Figure's not attacking; they're just showing the product.
They're just showing off their product. I also think that tells you, like myself, I was impressed at what another company is doing, because your thinking is, wow, Tesla is leading the pack and Optimus is folding clothes by remote, but here's this thing that is talking back and doing whatever, and you understand that eventually Grok is going to be the voice for the bot, but we haven't seen it yet, right? So when you see somebody else,
and I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it's going to come out soon.
It's totally there. You know that they're working on it, and you know that that's part of the master plan. But the fact that some other company came out and did it first and is showing a robot that looks pretty capable, you go, oh wow, this is pretty cool. I just think whenever you get too many people together that agree on something, especially if they've come to agree on something that they've had to say fight for or defend their position, eventually, when they're in an echo chamber, they're going to start to argue amongst themselves, right? They're going to find some reason to argue amongst themselves, and I think that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing everyone just sort of attacking someone that could potentially steal some of the thunder. But I think it's actually good, because Tesla has enjoyed a certain bit of hubris the last few years, because they've been able to say, look how far ahead we are of everybody, right? And now, yeah, they're further along on their robotics journey than a lot of other companies, but the robot thing, you argue, is a little easier for someone to catch up than an EV, right? So they're not enjoying the same lead in this that they did in the cars, and it's nice to have somebody else say, well, we can do this too, and there's we have a product that's actually viable to what you guys are doing. And I think that's good for the Tesla team, because personally in business, I think you don't want to bet on the number 1 horse. You want to bet on the number 2, because they're the ones that are waking up hungrier, right? Because they're the ones chasing.
So we should buy GM because their margins are getting better.
Well, that operating margin, did you see that? It's trending up.
I would say they're number 1.
Up.
But hold on, I would say all of those guys are number 1, and we're trying to usurp them. So all the EV startups,
that's true,
including Tesla, we're trying to get rid of those guys or make them change their ways. That's really what it is, right? And
can you unblock Gil so we can block him again? I don't know who it is, but they want him back out here.
Even blocked. But like, I don't understand why the Tesla community. Look, first of all, I'm a Tesla bull, but I like Rivians. They look good. Okay, even Ford makes nice cars now. Like, in terms of just cars, forget about everything else, robots and energy. Like, what is the problem? We need all these EV people to make EVs in order for EVs to take over the world. So we don't even discuss ICE anymore. It's just so ridiculous the way they keep shitting on Rivian, and they keep shitting on Ford Mach-E's and all this stuff.
It's weird, dude.
I think some of it is, although a certain percentage of EV sales
Gillis,
that go
Chris.
to I think
Chris, unblock
certain,
yourself. Go ahead.
Even though a certain percentage of EV sales that say go to Rivian are, say, stolen from Tesla, a majority of the sales that these companies are stealing are from ICE vehicles. This is what we talked about yesterday. They're taking sales from ICE vehicles. And so I think that that's just a reflexive defensive thing by the Tesla community. And I don't agree with it. I just don't think that we should be hostile right now. But here's the thing. If you're going to really get to see people's true personalities, because they're Tesla bulls on Elon's platform and they have a lot of leeway, right? So if they act accordingly, then you'll know that it's true. But if this brings out the worst in them, then you get this idea that, like, this is just sort of a natural a natural byproduct of echo chambers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do on, and then we'll be done for today. What's the technical say?
Not complicated. I only looked a little
That's
bit.
really good, actually. That's actually
Yeah, they
really
don't have a
good.
big history, but if you look at it, it's squeezing. And in fact, Chris, you're $27, the one that it keeps touching this line. So if it touches it again, we are at around $28. And then at some point here in the next couple of months, May, June, we has to make a decision. So if this company's doing well, it's possible they break up if they are doing well, if they keep their numbers up.
How long has
But,
it been in this wedge?
I would say
I can't see
$28 is really a good if you're waiting for this to be touched again. What did you say?
Might
How
not
long
be a
has it been
bad
in this
idea to sell
wedge?
some
I can't
pieces.
see.
Yeah.
I can't
I
see the scale of how many years this is covering. How long has it been in this wedge?
Do you see this right here? Well,
It's
they only came
public
out
for less than a year.
Yeah, they only came out in September 2021. That's when they came
But even
out.
so, that's very good. I mean, that's a really good chart that you got a nice wedge coming to. When does those points converge? This year?
Well, yeah. So basically, by May, June,
It needs to make a decision.
Once again, the next quarter, if they have a good quarter, then you can possibly break out of this.
What
Or
is the
two
MAC?
quarters,
What is the MACD on this chart?
Right? Do I
It's
have that?
down
Yeah,
below.
right here. So right now it is actually heading down. This is why I wouldn't rush in. Just like Chris was saying, he was actually right. $27, $28. You can get it under 30 probably. It looks like it looks like it wants to go a little bit down and just retest these numbers here. So $29, somewhere around there, whatever you feel like it is a good purchase price. But once again, I did no research on the company. This is just like the stock chart. I have no idea about this company besides the stock chart.
For anyone doing techno analysis, be careful of MACD because MACD can give you a false sense of movements, especially
Like
if you're
30% of the time. Yeah.
Right. If you get too close or too wide from the dates, it can really like throw you off. So some people, they live off the MACD saying, oh, look, the MACD is trending, blah, blah, blah. But it all depends on the time frame which you're judging it on. So, right now it's definitely in a downward spiral. Usually want to wait until those lines, they crisscross and they're at the bottom and growing.
Well, yeah, you want this sort of signal right
Right.
here where it's sort of lower. And then you basically see this orange line start to go up. So that's what you're looking for. But once again, it doesn't have to. If they come up with good numbers, it'll turn around.
And
but
also,
today is not the day to be buying it, basically.
Yeah. And also an RSI, usually you want to get into like the 40s and the 30s. Usually anything below 30 is usually oversold. So if you're looking for just short-term indicators, look for low RSI and MACD's trending in the positive direction. Of course, that's only technical analysis. You should always do fundamental analysis to figure out what actually the true market potential of this company is and all the other stuff. So just, FYI. But more importantly, there was a super chat that AMIT, you got to read real quick. And my wife actually sent me something too.
P. Chess, thank you for the super chat. Went to a running shoe store last week. On was the biggest section by far. Also admit you need good shoes to maintain good knees.
So my wife, she's an ER pharmacist, and she sent this to me. That's likely best. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Shoes made my knee and back pain go away. Standing in the ED all day. This is why a lot of people in the hospital setting wear these shoes. Somehow they figured out how to make them to the point where it just feels good to be in them for long periods of time, which is exactly what a shoe does, right? So
they have them. They have them. Those geriatric shoes, but they look like moon shoes.
Well, this one does not look like a geriatric shoe,
right? If you make them look cool, then okay,
Yeah, but let's do some DD on this one. Let's do some due diligence. Let's order
ED
a pair of
erectile dysfunction or
emergency room.
And then, he's like, we'll order some ED pills, and then we interview your wife a week later.
So we're getting some HIMS and getting some on cloud, and boom.
Yeah.
Okay,
no, this is what you talk about when you're 50.
Chris, last sentence you're gonna say. Then I have one quick little topic, then we'll end.
I think since all of us are Bitcoin millionaires and Tesla millionaires and Robinhood millionaires, we should each buy a pair
and
of
Verizon.
These
You gotta
and Verizon and Celsius and all the other good stuff. We should consider all buying a pair of these shoes, trying them out.
I can't do it on principle, dude. I'm not paying $180 for shoes. This is what I'm wearing, dude.
Same here.
This is what I'm wearing.
What is wrong with you? It's part of the business, bro.
These are the Shah Rukh Khan Chuppos 5000, man. Look at the grip on the. Well, there's no grip.
This guy's sitting on so many gains in Robinhood, and he won't buy a couple pair of shoes.
But that's why he'll stay rich. That's why.
I would rather he spent $200 on some calls on cloud. So there you go.
Yeah, I'll let other people buy the shoes. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'll
you
buy
You
the
can always,
wear
stock.
them
you
till
can
there's
always
holes in
return
it,
them
bro.
too. So
Okay,
you
we
can
got
always
one
return
big,
them
big
too.
topic to end off with.
Mhm.
The hub has been banned in Texas.
What? Get the
What?
fuck out of
The-
here.
How do you-
no,
how do you ban
Texas has an age
website?
verification law, and the hub is not complying with it. And so if you go to Texas and Arkansas,
What do you
by the
mean?
way,
What's the age verification law? What do you got to do?
it's
Just
something
click
like you have-
yes.
I'll get an article, but you have to like prove you're 18, I guess, and you don't have to do that anywhere else in the country.
You have to prove you're 18.
Yeah, like yeah, you have to
So
like.
every website you have to submit your license to every website.
I'm gonna
that
pull up the
sounds-
article because it's.
I mean, first of all, that'd be a security nightmare. Imagine just like someone scamming licenses off of places.
Mm-hmm.
So the hub has
Yeah, plus
don't say-
VPNs exist.
don't say the P word because YouTube's gonna get mad. But the hub disables website in Texas over age verification law. Other affiliated adult websites have blocked access to users in Texas among a legal battle. Last week, a federal appeals court upheld a Texas law requiring those sites to institute age verification measures to ensure only adults 18 and older. That came after. So yeah, I think you have to prove that you're 18.
Yeah, I mean,
if you think about it now, it's literally just like the honor system. It's like, are you over 18? Yes.
Exactly. It's like Facebook when you sign up when you're 13.
Right.
It doesn't, like you'll just lie.
Right.
So what do you guys think about this? Do you think this will hurt their business, or do you think this will make Texas less appealing? I'm never moving to Texas if this becomes the law.
I already use VPNs when I'm on Pornhub. So I
Don't
don't see-
Right. He's like, they don't ask for verification from Bolivar, which is where my
We know Chris has his
usually I-
videos, so
Right,
Chris is not
usually
going
a
to Texas.
VPN. Usually a VPN into Texas. To go through that.
You know what's hilarious? If you look up the most searched porn and you put different countries, and it'll fucking like ruin your day. It really will ruin your day. Because there are some really fucked up shit depending on which country you go to. The most searched porn in each country.
I think I've seen a graph like that a while
You
ago.
won't believe how much stepmother, and stepfather porn you'll see, bro. It's fucking crazy. It is fucking crazy.
Well, do you think Texas is gonna reverse this, or you think they're just gonna make
I
it
don't
the
know,
law?
dude. I really don't care. I really don't.
it should be at least as difficult to. You should have to verify yourself at least as much as you would if you went to a strip club. That's fair enough, isn't it? If you went to go see it live, you got to show some kind of an ID or something. If you want to buy tobacco or alcohol, you have to like send a picture of your license. It's pretty easy to implement. I don't know why they're fighting it.
All right. Cool
Maybe
stuff.
their audience is all 17-year-old boys.
I know.
No, it's probably, dude, I would assume their audience has to be 17-year-old boys that are
Right, like 20% of their audience.
20%
Like, when
of the
they-
audience. That's 20% of the market, dude. 17-year-old
What,
boys.
you think they're all in Texas?
Well, no. So that's why the hub is just like, fuck it. We'll just move on, right?
Well,
There's
no,
such
they
a big
also know
benefit.
you can use a VPN and ignore all their rules.
It's over.
There was
Yeah,
a
there's no
phenomenal
talking about
documentary
it.
on Netflix about, I'm just gonna say the history of Pornhub. I forgot what it's called, but if you type it in, you'll find it. And they break down how these guys monopolized Google search for every single crazy term Chris searches, and they let it down to their Pornhub website, and they built a fucking multi-billion-dollar empire
yeah.
of Google search. That's the biggest thing.
I gotta watch that.
So this is ours. This is for 2016. So I don't know how accurate this is now. But
is
the number one,
pre-pandemic.
this is number one, stepmom. Number
Wait,
two,
where in the United
lesbian.
States? Oh, United States.
Yep, in the United States. Number three is stepsister, MILF, cartoon, ebony, lesbian scissoring, teen, black, mom.
I hope no one's watching this with their kids, dude. I hope no one's watching with their kids. Sorry.
I would have thought midget is number one, but okay.
Oh my
Whoa. I don't know about New Jersey. What's going on there? But...
All right. Well, that was a fun one. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is the end of the week. We've had 550 people here every single day for the past almost 2 weeks now. So thank you for being here. Subscribe, like,
and one day they'll hit the like and subscribe. These freaking leechers.
Hit like, hit subscribe.
How many likes do we have right now? Hold on.
I'll give you guys some advice. Just because you're on incognito mode, don't just like leave. You gotta close the incognito browser and that tab. Otherwise, the next time they open incognito, you're gonna see the same shit over again. So just letting y'all know, some game, bro. Close.
This guy
your
knows a lot of stuff.
Close your incognito tabs.
All right, please like the video. We'll see you next Monday. Oh,
And
real
check
quick.
out- and check out Two Girls, One Cup if you've never seen it. Just
Yes.
No, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Carlos,
do
we'll
it.
do your Vision Pro update on Monday because we'll have a whole segment where you could talk about it. We'll do the Vision Pro.
Okay,
update.
cool. I'll wear it.
All right.
Later, guys.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
All right, bye.